So the title today is Men Appease Women, and it is Stay Calm and Neutral. So I thought I would talk about this. Let me just quickly take off my headset. I think a lot of men appease women in like ways of like sex and fucking every asset in life, but they don't actually even take care of themselves. And they start to fall. And a lot of these guys start to wonder why they're doing that. It's because they're not really putting themselves first. So it becomes like they're putting the woman first. Even in sexual advances, I think it's the same thing. Like a lot of men just put the woman first. And that kind of turns out to a false reality. You then find out that the guy has been through a multitude of divorces or relationships have failed, and it was actually better off he didn't do that. Specifically guys who are looks maxing for women. I obviously understand why they're doing it, because they have this insatiable, unrequited, unquenched thirst to like please and satisfy women, because they believe it obviously there's a reward of like dopamine that releases in their mind when they do these things. I think understanding why certain people do certain things is imperative, and it's also conclusive to certain things in your life, because once you know why people do certain things, like it's a lot easier to maneuver within your life. So basically what I'm trying to get at here is, I believe men appease women because they themselves have not pleased themselves. They can't please themselves, and they would prefer to actually please a woman because of their reactions in their brain are dopamine infused to do that for the opposite gender. So it's like how sex works, I guess. Well, I'm not guess, but no, it's a pleasure of the other person rather than the self. But for women, it's rather actually it's their self, but for men, it's for the other person. So it doesn't really work out in the same way that a lot of guys think that the guys don't think that it works out for them, but they think that it's working out for the woman. They would rather take the perspective with the woman rather than themselves. But women can then take their own perspective and then say like, oh, this feels a certain way, and it makes them feel a certain way, so it's like better off. I wanted to talk about this study that was done when it's called When Bad People Are Punished, Men Smile But Women Don't. It was done by the New York Times, and the New York Times basically said and concluded that women, when they see, men, when they see a person who has done wrong in a game, they then had a reward center, a dopamine rush to say, yes, this person has now been wrong. Say for example, the person was beaten up and they done wrong to another person by beating them up, and it wasn't right, and now justice has been served upon them. The men were like, yes, that's great, that's good, and they had that reward center of, yes, justice has been served. However, with women, it was more, they had empathy towards the person, even if they had done something against the other person unruly in the game. So it's quite interesting how the New York Times done a case study upon that in 2000, I believe 2006 or 2003. And I should link it, to be fair. It was in 2006. So when I was born. I'll link it in the description. But that is entirely on what I'm talking about. Obviously, I was going to make my own talk about hybristophilia and the acts of women's liking towards criminals or or men who have committed heinous crimes, etc. But I'll see about that one when I obviously post that one. It's quite interesting. But as I say, it comes with left and rights. It depends really and entirely upon like what you see, and not all people have their like eyes open. It's really minuscule. There's only a few people who are like, yeah, this, and I'm on my computer today, so if you're wondering why the mic is quite crisp, that is the reason. Men do completely appease women, and it's basically that looks maxing whole thing is due to them basically just thinking that women are above them, and then they go ahead and just start changing and altering their looks because they believe that that is that is conclusive. That is that is how they get women, and it's very silly. I don't know. I don't really get how you can't really appease anyone in this world, because appeasing is when someone is angry or someone who is not in a good position, and then you're trying to calm them down. It doesn't actually work. And what these guys are trying to do, these men are trying to do, is they're trying to calm down the reality of how women don't really like them and actually hate them for who they are. And they think that, oh, well, you know, they can go ahead and look smacks or alter their looks or change on who they are personality wise, and it then entices a woman. It's very silly. And the thing is, not many channels talk about this, and to be honest with you, I've never even seen a channel go into such depth, nor even talk about such a situation that we have right now in this outbreak. This looks maxing discussion is quite interesting because it shows the reality of how men will always like change. They will always change up for how women are and adapt, because men are adaptive but women don't adapt, so it's quite silly. Hi Hood Hobbies, man, I appreciate you for coming out, bro. But yeah, it's very, very silly. Now, in particular, there is this guy, his name is Clavicular. He is the head of like the looks maxing group, and it's very, very sad to see that he's like sticking needles in his face and bashing his face with a hammer just to entice women. And the women that he entices are very, I mean, you have to be very low IQ in order to understand that, not to understand that these women are that are around him are very promiscuous and silly and a waste of his time. He even says on his one live stream that he wishes that he didn't have to have a bunch of women on in his live stream, and rather that he could just play video games. So, I mean, if that doesn't tell you on what stance he has, it's just ridiculous. Like, the guy himself doesn't even feel confident with himself. And you know what, it's so sad seeing that guy going on and hitting himself with like a hammer and putting Aquafina or whatever it is in his face. I mean, it gets to a point where you have to understand that guys are just really trying to appease women at this point, and it's really, really sad. I mean, also, you have to also look at your own life, and anecdotally. So, some guys will go out of their way to appease women, and it's just very, very sad, honestly. I've seen a lot of guys who just put women on a pedestal. It's really weird. I don't know. And then they always seem to fall, man. It's very sad, honestly. So, but then again, you have to understand they kind of choose it. So, that's just everything in life. It's always an option, whether you want to do something or you don't want to do something. I've made a few posts, and obviously I've discussed on my new post section, I don't know what you even call it, where I've talked about certain males who have a high intellectual capability. Now, I actually searched up the word IQ today. I didn't even know what it meant. It means intellectual quotient. Let me really quick search it really quickly. It means intelligence quotient, or something like that. And I don't know whether I have an like high IQ or not, or maybe you do have a high IQ or not. But what I would say is that obviously there are certain traits that link to a high IQ. Obviously, read the reality. Like, not you might swear and maybe you're not articulate. There's certain guys who don't really think too much, but when they do start thinking too much, that's when they find out that they have a high IQ. Specifically, there's one guy who I'll name quickly if I can describe it, who he was a serial killer actually. His name was Ed Kemper, and he was a very tall man. He was 2 meters long, and he had a IQ of 140. So if I search up Einstein's IQ was around 160. So it just means that you could potentially, maybe if you see certain things that other people don't, maybe you have a higher IQ. It could be because it requires problem solving and whatever have you. So maybe taking a Mensa test is what you should do, because I don't know, maybe even high IQ people make silly decisions. I mean, Ed Kemper himself, he was, and even Richard Ramirez, some of these people who are supposedly the second one, high IQ. And Richard, obviously Ed Kemper, Ed took his IQ test. So you never know, like, honestly, you might be very high in intelligence. So yeah, and I don't think that you should try and lie, because it's hard, like the thing is, even people who have a high intellect or even a low intellect or an average, it doesn't really matter, because it really is all about whether you then understand yourself. I think that's what's imperative, because there's a lot of men who are in different positions, high IQ, and also married or in relationships. I've met men who, like, obviously they have kids, relationships, or they're married, and I think that that's good for them. Like, they should continue in that. I believe that people should do whatever they want to do, and I think that is honestly a great thing. So yeah, I don't really see a problem with that. Like, they're just doing what they want to do in their own life. Like, just because you may not want to have kids or a wife or, I don't know, a relationship or whatever have you, that doesn't mean you should put it on other people. I think people should make their own decisions. So that's what's important. You shouldn't just like bash someone and say that they should do a certain thing because of certain reactions. And I think once you start to get a certain amount of life experience, you then dictate on whether things are meaningless or whether they have meaning, but you can still fall into that pit of failure. And that's what happens with humans. I think that another thing is with people, when they try to measure intellectual ability, is they think that person who has a high IQ, or someone who has a high capability for intellect, is a person who could not make a mistake. And in reality, that is completely false, because I think that you make a multitude, or if not, you make more mistakes when you actually have a high IQ, or whether you're more intelligent, because you start to realize that certain things you need to make mistakes in, and that's how high IQ actually become high IQ. For example, Ed Kemper, I know he was a serial killer, but then he realized that from his teacher, his art teacher, that he needed to think more, and his art teacher made him I think the word could be postulate here, a little bit more in thought. Obviously, I'm trying to increase my vocabulary a little bit more, and the thing is, I think that that's a lot of people who are high IQ. They've always, or people who are smart or have something outside of the box, they've tried to like increase on what they've tried to say over the years or whatever have you. But the reality is they've never really came out of their comfort box in order to say certain things. Although they have that ability to, a lot of people do limit themselves for other people, and that is because of appeasement. And I think appeasement is quite interesting. The word is very hostile, but the word entails a lot of reality. So yeah. I quite find some of these cases that I've been watching, and I'm gonna link Barbarossa's channel in the description. He is another guy who follows on mgtow and men's rights activist. It's quite interesting that he has his own posts and he talks about the different. I don't think a lot of people on my channel have actually been exposed to him, and thank God that Shaka actually sent me his channel. So I appreciate you, man. And I just think that the reality is there's a lot that I have to talk about, but it seems like I do believe in toxic masculinity similar to him. I don't think violence is the way in there, and that if you sit there and react with violence, it won't entail anything good. It will just breed harmfulness. The law is always above us. Pardon me. And we will always be governed by the law. There's no way out of it, and the law is always sovereign above all citizens. So it's absolutely impossible. Like, for example, police officers or anyone, they are able to detain you, arrest you. They can do whatever they want. Yeah, they have so much power, and I think a lot of men think that they have power when in reality you really don't. Some men try to control women, which is very silly because you cannot control another person and how they feel and react. So it's very, very silly. There's a lot more I would talk about. For example, I wanted to talk about hybristophilia. I really wanted to, and the thing is, I didn't know about the words in specific, but I did know about the context around it. In women have this insatiable love for like heinous criminals, etc. And I have a interview that was done by there was a man who I believe he killed his parents because he had a prostitute that he was given around $200,000 on the internet to, and then he went off and he killed his parents, which is absolutely asinine, and his brother. And he was getting messages in prison of women who were saying like they wanted to be raped in the blood of his dad and whatnot. It was absolutely mental, bro. So yeah. And you have that his girlfriend does a interview talking about it. So there's a lot that I have to talk about and tell. So I just thought I would just come on for about 20 minutes to discuss some of the appeasements that men do. And I really do believe that there's a lot of people in this space who they have a lot of intellect, man. And it's just that you need to open your mind a little bit more. And I believe that will brighten you up. It will like set you for a better path. I don't think it's quite interesting. And I saw some new people in the Discord as well. I'm not sure. They're probably trolls, maybe. Obviously, you get a lot of those people. I didn't know my channel was still within with the algorithm. I thought it was kicked out, to be honest with you. And yeah, it's quite interesting. There's a lot of guys now, the looks maxing community I've already talked about a little bit with clavicular, and it's quite sad. I don't really pop up clips anymore because I could put all the clips in the world up and I guess people wouldn't even understand what the fuck I'm talking about anyways. I actually quite like watching the clips as well, so maybe like you guys do, I don't know, you gotta let me know in the comments. But yeah, it seems like the world is not in a good position right now, and I think it's always been like that. It seems like I prefer a small like player base, a small family, small community. It's a little bit better off than something which is existentially big and you got like a whole bunch of people. I don't really like it. I hate it, man. It's too big, and like I think when you get too many people in the chat, then it becomes like a business. When you get a few people, or you have like a medium-sized channel, you get to know people a little bit better, and I think that's more important and integral. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see certain things. I may actually play this interview. If you can give me a second, I can pull up the interview and I can try play it actually. You know what? Let me give a second and give me a second please. And when I'm talking about this, I'm going to give a little scroll to, it's going to be quite hard for me to actually find this, so you have to give me a second. 1 second, guys. But yeah, I think it's quite interesting about this hybristophilia, these women. Hybristophilia. I thought I was going to make a whole video by itself about this actually, so man, there's a lot on this. See if I can try find it, man. Oof, this can be a lot for you guys actually. Is it this one? Hybristophilia. Here we go. I thought I was going to make my own video on this one actually. Why are some women attracted to serial killers? Oh, you had actually Richard Ramirez on this one. It's quite interesting, man. I'm gonna try find that, and I'm gonna make my own video towards that one. Actually, I'm not gonna post that one right now because I think it wouldn't be quite good. But yeah, I thought to myself, maybe 20-minute live isn't too bad, just to get my points across on that. Even though I just think it's pointless to like looks max for women because they don't really care. I don't get why guys are doing it as well. It's very silly. Like, you got guys out here, like, I've seen guys, I know a guy personally who he basically just alters his, like, looks, and he does it all just because of women, and I just think it's quite sad, because he's doing it for women, he's not doing it for himself, and man, that just is quite, that's really sad, bro. Like, they won't appreciate it, and the thing is, you'll walk outside and you'll think, oh, why is this woman not looking at me, etc., and then the guy gets into problems in his own life, and I'm like, oh my god, this is very silly, isn't it? Or the guy gets into a relationship and now he's found that his girlfriend's cheating or his wife is cheating, and he's got on child support, which isn't quite nice. There's a lot of money he has to pay in lump sum or in installments. It's very dependent upon what country he's in. For example, I know American courts, they're harsh, man. They are really, really harsh, and they just don't care, do they? They really do not care. These courts, they really are out here for money, and they've said to themselves, they just want money. And I wish I could actually get a little video just to like lighten guys on this one. You know what? Because like I'm on my computer today, so I think it's actually quite good. I actually did watch this one, the ex-pro basketballer, and we had this pastor. You got a lot going on, and maybe I should watch this one. What is this one? A calculation in child support? Let's see, but his career ended a year ago. I think this one wasn't too bad. Let's see. NBA player. Was it NFL? It was NFL player. That was it. NFL player. Sorry guys, here we go. This is it right here. I'm gonna try and actually stream this and see if we can. Give me 1 second, guys. Hood Hobby said, but it's not like these guys don't hear the stories. To be honest with you, man, they do hear the stories, man. And you know what? The stories are coming out a lot more, and I think it is. I think you're right. There are some guys who don't hear the stories as well, you know, and they do jump into this with their full head, like as if they're taking a dive into the swimming pool. So it is quite interesting. You're not wrong, I would say that. You say some dudes need the wake-up call. Yeah, you know what, there's sometimes in life, even in other circumstances that we have, we we actually realized that we do need that wake up call. And it's not just in relationships or marriage or kids. You know, it's not always just that one thing, I guess. But you're 100% right. Let me see if I can quickly. I think you're 100% stream. There we go. There we go. Let's see how well I can do with this one right here. Full screen it. How well does this look on the stream? Let's go. Nice, nice. Might as well start this and see how well it goes. 135. So this is an NFL player, and I might as well just get a little bit of this on the stream because why not? It's about 25 minutes in. Maybe you're still watching on the replay, which I would recommend. Why not? I mean, you don't really find this content anywhere else anyways. Besides the content you're probably watching is bullshit. I know that because the content I watch is bullshit. Doesn't really say much. But we're just going to start it from the beginning. We're not going to watch all the 47. We'll kind of summarize it.
How much are you receiving per month?
135 on paper.
Sorry, 135,000. Is that per year?
Yes, ma'am.
With the 15th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Corey Coleman, wide receiver, Baylor.
This is Coleman versus Messiah, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Mr. Coleman?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McIsaac?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may both move your hands.
There is one child before the court, Nyla Eve Coleman, born June 25th, 2021. I offer into evidence what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit A, the acknowledgement of paternity, attached to the state's petition filed February 25th.
So if you don't know what happens in the child support court is she said the acknowledgement of paternity. So the acknowledgement of paternity is that he has acknowledged that he is the father of the child. So if you're ever wondering what that means, that is exactly what it means. You sign on the back of the birth certificate, and that indicates that you are the father of the child and that you take full accountability, full responsibility legally and basically just to yourself, legally and to yourself, that you are the father of the child.
2025.
Any objections to this document being entered into evidence, counsel?
No.
Objection.
Then State's Exhibit A is admitted.
So in court, you have to do every time that basically something, well, this is US court. Obviously, I'm not in the United States, but when something's given, they say exhibit and they say exhibit A, exhibit B, whatever have you. They're going to give a document for what is presented. I don't know what they're going to present, but they're going to say this is given because we want to present it as evidence for, say, for the father's income. So we'll see what they say.
Parents have agreed that they will be joint managing conservators of the child, with Ms. McIsaac having the exclusive right to determine the child's residence within Dallas or any surrounding county.
Joint managing conservative means that he and her will take care of the kid. However, that she will take care of him within the county. Okay, within wherever she's at. Okay, she's taking care of the kid, but they will have joint managing. They will take care of the kid together. When it says joint, it means together.
Parents have agreed to a standard possession and access schedule. Parents have agreed to communications via app close. Parents have agreed that Mr. Coleman will maintain the child on health insurance through another source, and also dental insurance through another source. Any additional healthcare expenses to be covered by the parents 50-50. And everyone is in agreement that this will be a temporary order. Everyone has also agreed, Your Honor, that...
So if you look up on the right really quickly, you have to understand. Oh, Hitobi said something amazing. He said financially, he said all acknowledgement means you are legally and financially responsible. That's it. Yeah, that's a great explanation, man. Hey, thank you, man. You've touched up on my one, man. 100%. That's very true. You are legally and financially responsible. That's it. Thank you very much. And even here, this is her Instagram. Actually, this is genuinely her Instagram. I actually went on it. The woman that you see in the bottom left over here, her name is Aziza Makisak, and this is her Instagram. She's a realtor, and she has very little followers, and she promotes property on that. And she is taking this player right here, which is an NFL player, to court
This case will
for
be
child
referred
support.
to the district court, the 301st, and that no further setting has been set at this time. That is the extent of the terms retroactive and court costs reserved for a final hearing. If I may call Mother.
You may.
Ma'am, what is your full name?
Aziza Asha McIsaac.
And Ms. McIsaac, have you heard the terms I read to the court?
Yes.
Did you understand those terms?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you in agreement with those terms and believe in the best interest of your child?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have any personal knowledge about how much Mr. Coleman makes?
As far as exact dollar amounts, no. I am aware that he gets total and permanent disability. But if he chooses to continue to work, then it'll be forfeited. If he chooses not to work, then he'll be able to get it for his lifetime.
And so he's receiving disability, but he also is he also currently employed?
Yes. With
Okay.
TC.
And are you requesting his support be based, his child support be based on both the disability he's receiving and his current income?
Yes.
Do you understand that the state has calculated that as being the maximum, which is $2,340 per month?
Yes.
Are you requesting that?
So you don't know what his disability is. Because he's an NFL player, he gets disability. This means that when he gets, obviously he has to take chiropractors and anything to basically help his health out. And this is factored in with his disability, but he forfeits that if he makes a lesser amount in his salary. So it's a bit interesting. I need the toilet. I'm going to play the rest.
Child support be set to that amount?
Yes.
Do you understand that that would begin on October 1st?
Yes.
Do you have any safety concerns with your address or phone number being included in the order?
No.
Your Honor, I pass the witness.
Any questions of this witness, Ms. Ridgway?
Yes, did you disclose earlier that the dollar amount of Mr. Coleman's disability or whatever payments he's getting from the NFL actually is $135,000? Is that correct? Ms. McIsaacs?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I thought
Okay.
I thought it was closer to 160. That was what he told me, but
That's what he told you. And then what did he tell you about what he's making as a wide receiver coach over at TCU?
he didn't tell me exactly.
Okay. But he gets this disability unless he starts working somewhere else. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, so they gave him like a period to decide if he wants to continue working, and if he chooses to work, then he'll forfeit the disability. If he chooses not to work, he'll be able to get the disability for life.
But as far as what's happening today, here and now, and what's happened in the last 6 months, let's say, he's been receiving that $160,000. Isn't that right?
Yes, to my knowledge.
And then he's also
Objection,
getting
Your
medical.
Honor. Sorry, with the Zoom, mischaracterizing the witness's testimony.
Response, counsel?
I don't know how I'm mischaracterizing it. You know,
She articulated that it was 160,000. I think the
Yes.
record would reflect that the number is 135,000.
well, and that you can put that on when it's your turn to question her, but
Okay,
My
I'm
client-
gonna sustain the objection. We're gonna move on, counsel.
okay,
Continue
all
your
right.
question.
So you're going to see that within this case that they talk about, this woman will specifically talk about 160,000. Well, he'll talk about, I think he said 135,000. They you have to understand that when it comes to solicitors, when it comes to lawyers, they're always battling it out to make the most amount of money. They want to make it so you have a surplus. They want to please and appease the judge. The reason why this is because the more you can appease the judge, the more you can appease the whoever you're presenting to, the better it is for your client and the payout for you. Like, it's when you have to understand, the man who is paying here is paying off the solicitors, the lawyers, if you want to call them that, or the specifically as well as the judge, the OAG here, the mother, and the whole court system, specifically if they are paying the extra percentage they have to pay in order to pay the child support to the wife, the ex-wife or partner, whatever have you.
So, one of the things that you're also asking
The mother.
court to consider is some additional money beyond that maximum amount. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
And and can you tell the court succinctly, very quickly, why are you asking for additional money?
So we've had like kind of a voluntary agreement that she would go to his mom's house every other weekend. But his mom just got a new job and he has a lot of like away games. So he's already called the nanny and told her that he won't be covering the cost of the nanny because he was upset with me. So that's going to leave me to have to pay to cover his designated weekends, which kind of adds more of a financial strain to me. I'm
that-
already over.
Okay, so is that because you work on certain weekends?
Correct. Yeah, I work every other week. So the weekends that I work is when she's supposed to go with his mom.
All right. And so what is it costing you to have that extra nanny?
We
Uh,
just got started with a nanny, so the price is still kind of. I haven't sent her yet with the nanny on the weekends that he works, so I won't.
What is it going to cost you from
Probably
here on out
probably close to a couple hundred per month.
per month?
Mhm.
Okay, so what are you asking as far as additional monies beyond the maximum amount of support that would be assessed to Mr. Coleman under the Texas Family Code guidelines? What additional amounts of money are you asking for?
Maybe 300 more or so, 400 more.
So that would make you happy and you would be able to cover the nanny costs due to
Yeah.
his schedule, his work schedule?
Yes, I believe so.
All right, I'll pass the witness.
Any questions of this witness, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor, I will be
Yes.
brief. There's a little delay, so if I seem like my face is a little discombobulated, that's why, because I'm hearing myself for some reason.
Okay.
Ms. McKinsey, I just want to start with something that you testified to earlier.
I just want to quickly say that you have to understand that in these cases, the lawyer or the solicitor, as I'm in the United Kingdom, is there to. His lawyer is not very good. It's very bad. His attorney, wherever have you, is horrible, and he doesn't push for him as much as he should have. Now, when it comes with money, you get a certain attorney. In the family court, you're gonna want to have a attorney, and you're gonna want to pay the big price. Okay, you're gonna want to put the money up. You're gonna want to pay for the best attorney you can get, and that will help you significantly. She has a good lawyer. The lawyer's pushing her. Nancy Ridgway is very heavily pushing. If you want to, you can search up these people. You can even go on her Instagram if you want, and you can see that she is a realtor, etc., etc. So while she's selling houses, she's also claiming a significant amount of child support. And he has had to sell his house to basically summarize this, and he lives in a place where it is very, very expensive. Now, if I play this full video, we're going to be sitting here for around 40 minutes, so I don't know if we should. However, we could quite well summarize this case. Now, let's just play a little bit of what his solicitor, lawyer, attorney has to say. So there's obviously an array of terms I would say on these types of people. You have to understand, when you get into this profession, it is about how well you can bullshit and you can lie. Your attorney wouldn't need to be there. Your lawyer or your sister would not need to be there if everyone in the world told the truth. if we all went to court and people would be like, you know what, judge, I done this, and I done this, A and B, etc., A, B, C, then you would then start to say, oh, we don't need a solicitor, or we do not need a lawyer, or we do not need an attorney, because we have people who are saying the truth, and then it becomes redundant on the reason on why we actually need them, which is them to sit there and lie. So that is important. When you get into these courts, please do understand that is imperative to then take the point and the stance of these people are lying.
Earlier, you said that you were aware that if Mr. Coleman chooses to continue to work, that his disability will be forfeited, correct?
Mr. Hampton, can you stop right there for me, please, sir? Can everybody refrain from drinking while we're in this hearing?
Oh,
If you
yes,
don't mind, I'm sorry.
yes, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
thank
My
you.
it's my energy drink. Sorry.
I know we all need some energy, including me. But let's just not do it while we're in the middle of this hearing.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
I
Okay,
apologize.
go ahead. It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead, sir.
I will pose my question. Earlier, you testified that you are aware that if Mr. Coleman continues to work, his disability will be forfeited, correct?
Right.
And you are aware that Mr. Coleman has been employed with TCU starting this season,
Right.
correct? And has Mr. Coleman given you any impression that he intends to stop working for TCU?
Yes, he said that if he's not going to get more than what total and permanent disability offers, then he won't continue to work.
Okay. Has he
Not true.
ever?
Hold on one
Mr.
second. Mr.
Coleman.
Coleman, it is not your turn, sir.
Yes.
So you don't have to respond
Yes,
to
ma'am.
what she's saying, and you don't have to make faces. You don't have to do any of that. Okay, sir? Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Hampton.
Okay. And you are aware.
Now, I want to quickly talk about what the judge has just said. She said you don't have to make any sorts of faces. Now, you have to understand that he technically making faces isn't actually a problem. Now, saying something in court would then get you done with contempt, but him sitting there and saying, like, having a certain face, that is really, really predatory. And I think this judge is really getting at Corey Coleman for this, and it is absolutely asinine. Like, him making a face is not problematic. It's not content. He can sit there and he can make a face. Like, what the fuck is that gonna do? So obviously she feels a certain way. So this judge is, you gotta understand, women judges they're not very good. And I don't think this judge is very good at all. So he doesn't even have a good attorney as well. I don't know how much money he's spent, but if you are going to get yourself an attorney and you need to get yourself into this court system, you need to buy and pay for the best solicitor, lawyer, attorney that you can afford, and you need to spend a lot of money. He should have spent a lot of money. He's an NFL player, but obviously considering his circumstances, he has no money. Darby said, women are the worst officials in the court. Yeah, 100%. I mean, man, it's just dependent upon emotion, and you have to understand the legal profession is not up to that, man. It's a lot up to logic, but whatever.
Aware of the fact that Mr. Coleman has been receiving this disability since approximately January of last year?
Right.
Okay. So he's past the 6-month threshold for when he could potentially be kicked off of his disability. Is that correct?
Well, he told me that they extended it to 12 months so that he would be able to finish out the season and then make a decision.
Okay, so my question was that he's past the 6-month threshold for when he could potentially be kicked off. That's correct.
I have no idea. I'm just going based off what he told me.
Okay. Again, I understand what he told you, but my question was that he has passed the 6-month threshold from when they would hypothetically kick him off the program. Is that correct?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Objection, Your Honor asked and answered.
Objection sustained.
All right, Your Honor, I will move on. So what we can agree is that if he does continue to work, he will be voluntarily forfeiting his disabilities. Is that correct?
Correct. To make less,
So, okay, but by,
to provide less for our daughter.
but by that definition, that would make his current disability temporary, correct? It's not guaranteed.
It would have been guaranteed if he didn't choose to work. So the whole point of the disability was because he couldn't work.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Objection sustained. Ms. McIsaac, just answer the question that the council asked you.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I'll pose my question again. So that makes the very nature of this disability temporary, correct?
Right.
The next thing I want to talk about is you mentioned that you need approximately $300 a month for the nanny. Is that correct?
Correct.
The nanny that Mr. Coleman was currently paying for, was that nanny covering times when your daughter was in your possession or when your daughter was in his possession?
It would be when I'm at work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were at work, were there any instances in which his mom was caring for your daughter?
Yes, on the weekends.
Okay. And if she was supposed to be with you for a weekend and you had to work, where was your daughter?
That incident hasn't occurred yet. So the weekend of the 26th is when I'm scheduled to work, and which is his designated weekend, and his mom and him are saying that they cannot take her. So
Okay.
I'm having to cover costs for childcare.
Thank you. So I just want to clarify, your testimony is that there's never been an instance where the nanny was needed when the child was supposed to be in your care.
In my care?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, based on that, your $300 a month calculation is an estimate because you've never dealt with this situation before?
Correct, because this is just a rise that his mom just got a job and he has away games. So they're not
Okay.
going to be able to take her on the weekends that I work anymore.
Okay. Has there been a history of nanny payments that you're aware of?
With the current nanny?
With any nanny that since your child has needed one?
Yeah, she's had a nanny before.
Okay. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is if your child has had a nanny before and there's a history of nanny payments, I'm not understanding why you don't know how much it would be per month. Was that a cost that you were paying?
It's because we've gotten a new nanny, and I've never had to pay the nanny myself.
Okay, so Mr. Coleman has been historically paying the nanny?
He had, and he got upset at me and said he's not going to be paying anymore and that it should be my responsibility.
Okay, so just to clarify, Mr. Coleman has historically been paying the nanny, correct?
A different nanny. Mhm.
Okay. All right, thank you. No further questions for Lucas.
Any further questions, Ms. Sweet?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Ridgway?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Ms. Sweet, you can call your next witness.
Yes, I'd like to call Mr. Coleman.
Yes. Sorry,
Mr.
my,
Coleman.
my device died, so I just logged on to another device.
That's fine, Mr. Coleman. So, did you hear the terms that I previously read to the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand those terms?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you in agreement with those terms and believe they're in the best interest of your child?
Yes, ma'am.
And regarding support, you currently work at TCU, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you salaried?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what is your salary?
70,000.
And you also receive a disability from the NFL, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. And you had been receiving that since last year, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much are you receiving per month?
135 on it.
Sorry, 135,000, is that per
Thousand,
year?
yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. but that is designed to be temporary. Is that correct?
It's temporary.
But you are still receiving it to date.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you understand that I've calculated your support based on both sources of income as being at the maximum of $2,340?
Yes.
But you disagree with child support being set to that amount, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are you requesting that child support be set to?
I think what I think is fair, because I think like 1,500. You know, I want to support my child. I want to be there and stuff. I just don't think the max is, you know, as much as I've done and I provided. I'm there. I'm a present father. I take care of my daughter. You know, and I want them to be compensated. I think fair is 1,500. You know, she's on my insurance. Um, you know, I just tired of getting, in my opinion, you know, I'm tired of getting taken advantage of, you know, and just dishing out money like I'm a bank. So, you know, I want to be fair. And I think, you know, me and my lawyer and came to terms, I think 1,500, like, you know, is fair.
Your Honor, I pass the witness.
Mr. Hampton, would you like to go first this time?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I would like to go first. Mr. Coleman,
Yes, sir.
I want to talk a little bit about the disability that you're receiving. The temporary nature of it. Why is it temporary? Can you explain that to us?
Yes, it's temporary. You know, if I get a job, if I make over 30,000 on a job, which at TCU I'm making 70K, they're going to take it away. Yeah.
Okay. And as you heard earlier, it seems like there may have been a communication between you and Ms. McKissick where you said that you may voluntarily, you know, choose to no longer be on that. Can you give us some context about that conversation, please, sir?
Yes. You know, they're going to take it, and that's just, you know, what it is. I'm kind of taking, you know, a gamble, which I am, because I'm in coaching. I was at home and I felt like, you know, I was a vegetable because of my disability, you know, getting all this treatments, you know, flying a nurse in to do, I don't know if y'all know, like NAD, IVs on me and stuff. And I just felt like I was rotting away. So I wanted to, you know, pursue coaching because I did play football in the past to get me, you know, to sense of purpose in life. So I took the back step of making the 70,000, and later on, you know, down the road, I could be making more, you know, but I did take the risk of, you know, I'm going to lose this disability because I really didn't want to just sit at home and rot away and just get all this treatments every day, which I paid. I pay still to this day a lot of money for treatments, for IVs, for chiropractors, for putting my body through all this stuff, playing football and stuff. And that's why they gave me the disability and stuff. But I also, like I said, I'm taking the risk of, you know, they're going to take that. And this is what it is. I'll be on 70K salary.
Okay. And how are you paying for that treatment?
Through with my disability, you know, I take it out, you know, paying cash, you know, they fly in, I have a doctor that fly in, that gives me IVs that do treatment on my body, ACL, 2 broken hands, surgery. So I need maintenance to support that. My body is, you know, like I've been in a car accident, played football for a long time. So I got to take care of, you know, the things that help with my mental health.
Okay. Outside of paying for your treatment, do you use those funds for anything else?
No, there's no money left over because I got to pay lawyer fees and I got to pay for my treatments. There's no money.
So I now want to talk to some of your other expenses. The testimony earlier seemed to suggest that the nanny that's been paid for your daughter was primarily an expense for you. Can you give us some information about that?
Yeah, since my daughter been born, I've been there, been a present, taking care, even diving into, my savings, not making the money, diving in my savings to provide, giving my last for my daughter to provide for them. So, I always provided. Like we have documents, we have, what would you call receipts, like I've been there. I was just really tired of this and ready to get it over with, Your Honor, to be honest. Like this is training.
Okay. And another question about the nanny. When your daughter is supposed to be with you, and you are otherwise unavailable, who cares for your daughter?
My mom, like for instance, this past week, I coached, I had her, I drove hour and a half, she moved, she decided to move. My daughter was 10, 12 minutes from me. I put daycares and system close to her to help her out. Daycare's name is right by her. So she moved an hour away. To her support system was me and my mom. And she just
Okay, considering that I had left and I've came back, I'm going to talk quickly about this to summarize it. BPD, salute to you. Online call, yep. So basically, from what I can remember from the case, is he's talking about his mum taking care of the child, and rather than him paying for a nanny, so it would save him money. He's also sold his house so that he could make more money. His ex-partner, Aziza Makisak, has now moved out and moved to a different place due to her not being able to afford the expensive place in which they were in, where typically people with high net worth live, considering that he's an NFL player. And yeah, she requires a special nanny, which costs $300 per month, in what she's saying, and she needs that extra $300 per month. I think he pays $2,000 and so in child support. This is all off the top of my head, guys, so I'm going off of what I remember. And yeah, that's really it. There's a lot more to the case. I'll play it and you guys can go in. BBD said it's your fault and clueless men who keep having children and women. I mean, you know what? It's easy to say that. And sometimes it's like, maybe these guys, maybe that they didn't know, or maybe there's a lot more that goes on to it, Some of these lads are just naive and it just hits them on the top of the head and then they learn. Some of these lads know. A lot of these lads are thinking with different parts of their body, their penis, namely, rather than their mind. So, yeah, no, you're right. I don't want to blame them, be like, oh well, it's your fault that you get married. Because I know why they fell into that trap. BBD said even men on SSI disability have to pay child support. SSI, I'm not sure what that one is, but I know disability, obviously. I'm sure SSI, that is, I will think quickly. SSI is something security income. I think so. So US government income. Yeah, it's true.
decided to make the decision to move an hour and some change from TCU, an hour and 30 minutes to
social security income. Okay, yeah, benefits. Yeah, you're right, 100%.
me and my mom, she moved there. So everything was set in place. My daughter's 10 minutes. I was picking her up from daycare. I was doing all these things and she upped and moved.
Okay. So, if your mom is caring for your daughter when you're with you, with your mom's new schedule, do you think that that's something you'll be able to maintain when you're supposed to have possession of your child?
Of course.
So, do you see that there would be a need for a nanny for when the child is with you moving forward?
No.
Okay. Has there ever been a need for a nanny when the child was with you?
No, not at all. The nanny is for her sake, to try to make it easier for her. We're not together. I'm not obligated to. I try to do everything to, like I said, dive into my savings.
So the reason why he doesn't need a nanny is because that he himself has a mother who can take care of the child, and he has been diving into his savings to trying to help this child. So yeah,
doing all these things.
Okay. And last little bit, just brief summary. Outside of the nanny, since your daughter was born, what other forms of financial support have you provided?
Everything, anything dealing with my daughter, I tell her, hey,
I want to play that one more time. 1 second.
What have you provided? Your daughter was born. Just brief summary. Outside of the nanny, since your daughter was born, what other forms of financial support have you provided?
Well, I mean, this attorney, man, listen, man, this guy is paying child support. What do you mean? What else has he provided? This is why I didn't like the attorney in this case. I really don't. And he doesn't look presentable at all. I don't like this attorney at all. Now, I think that there's better attorneys out there that he could have paid for, specifically because he's an NFL player. But
everything, anything dealing with my daughter, I tell her, hey, make a list, whatever. I send the money right away. I've never told her no. When it pertains to my daughter clothes or whatever the case might be, I always at birthday parties, I paid for every single one of my.
the court actually doesn't care about this as much as a lot of men think that they do. It's legal and it's financial. They only care about things that say the word child support on them, not gifts.
My daughter's birthdays. She hasn't paid not for one. I paid for the birthday parties. I've done everything for my daughter. So, like I said, I'm just ready for this to be over, come up with something fair, and get this over with because this is mind blowing to me.
I completely understand, Your Honor. At this time, I pass the witness.
Counsel?
Okay, yes, Mr. Coleman, I think, my client doesn't have any complaint about your wanting to be involved in your daughter's life, and she welcomes that. So, and I've heard what you've said, but
That is a complete and utter manipulation tactic. They do not welcome that. However, you will say that to defend your client 100%. Like, that is literally absolute asinine bullcrap. Like, literally. That is misleading as well. It's just to try and manipulate them. It's like when the woman said, like, oh, well, he can come and see the kid anytime he wants to, blah, blah, blah. He knows where they live. That's bullshit. It's fucking crap.
but let's start with your salary, okay? You keep mentioning that, or your attorney does, that this 160,000, which you say is
And you can see how she keeps on naming that it's £160,000. It's $160,000 rather than the actual 135 that's indicated, because she's trying to go for the best interest of her client. The judge says absolutely nothing in this case about that. Now, I'm just going to keep on playing towards the end because I don't want to watch this whole case. I really do not, guys. If you want to, I mean, the name is up here, and if you really want me to, let me know. You can link it. It's just, you just search this and get immediately. Let's just play a little bit
Child
more.
support based on what Mr. Coleman is earning to date. This will be a temporary order, Your Honor, and refer to.
Let's play what the OAG says, because what the OAG says is typically what the judge will go off of.
plus the compensation for additional child care due to Mr. Coleman's work schedule with TCU. That's all I have.
Anything, Ms. Sweet?
Yes, Your Honor. So the state is
Stay on good terms with Mr. Coleman. She wants him to be involved in this child's life, but she also needs contribution, and he just has not been stepping up. We're not going to go into all the reasons why he's not stepping up lately, but we can save that for the next hearing. But the fact is, my client is entitled to this child support. She would like to have $300 extra a month because right now, by Mr. Coleman's voluntary choices, he is working for a team that flies him out of town.
That $300 is for the nanny that she needs, the specialist nanny.
Town obligations on weekends. So my client can't consistently rely on his mother to babysit the grandchild. And she doesn't want to have to rely on him for anything other than support. My client works every other weekend. And so daycare is not available then, and that's why they have the nanny when he's out of town, and she'd like that to continue. So, you know, the court has the discretion to order some additional support beyond the $2,340. So, with all due respect,
So the his attorney's gonna be asked for the $2,340, so $2,340. Let's see what she asked for, which is the person who's defending Aziza Makizab.
Your Honor, we're asking the court to order $2,740.
So she wants 27 for sorry, let's say that again.
With all due respect, Your Honor, we're asking the court to order $2,740.
$2,740. So she needs $2,740. It's about an extra, what's that? $400. The reason why she's saying the extra 400 is, I believe, because they have to pay a little bit of extra, and she just want, yeah, I think it's the same as in the UK courts where you have to pay an extra in collection, like for the courts to then pay it out to the parent, rather than it be direct pay where it's sent straight to them. It's rather the court, it goes through them, the paying parent to the court, and the court to the person, rather than the paying parent to the person,
A month.
the receiving person.
So that my client gets the guideline amount of child support plus the compensation for additional child care due to Mr. Coleman's work schedule with TCU. That's all I have.
Anything, Ms. Sweet?
Yes, Your Honor. So the state is requesting that the maximum guidelines of $2,340 be ordered as far as child support based on what Mr. Coleman is earning to date. This will be a temporary order.
So the state is going off of what, the $2,340, which is what he wants, which is not the $2,000 extra $300, because the extra $300 is quite a lot of money, brothers. Yeah, that's another basically payment for child support.
Your Honor, and refer to the district court, and if further temporary orders are necessary, if the situation.
Well, that is
it's
itself.
our view that can be resolved fairly quickly to change any support amounts as necessary. But as it stands today, that is how much he is earning, and that's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Then I will accept the agreed portions of this order, make the agreed portions the order of the court. I will order child support at $2,340 a month.
So child support has been ordered at what the OAG said and what his attorney wanted and what he wanted, basically. So let's see what he says.
To begin October 1st, 2025. Are there any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, then thank you thank you all for appearing here today, and you're all free to go.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you, Your Honor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Do you have any personal knowledge?
Now this one here is a man who, so basically that's what the case is right there. This man right here, if you see right, let me see where my cursor is, he was hiding income from, as he was a realtor, he was hiding income, I think he's a real estate investor actually, he was hiding income from this woman right here, Tristine Wilson. And these people, if you really want to, you can go off and you can search their names up. You can watch all the cases if you really want. It's on Court Watchers, and yeah, there's a lot to do with child support calculations and court. So yeah, it's quite vast, man. There's a lot that goes on within the court, but at least I got off to like making the video, right? Because I've been wanting to. I put this off for actually a little while. To be fair, I wanted to make this. So yeah, that's wholly and truly the truth of the child support court. And unfortunately we don't have the CMS in this country, because the UK is more dedicated towards quickly putting men on child support rather than taking it to court. Like, you don't normally see the family courts, and also everything is just digital now. Like, the UK is dishing out digital ID, digital divorce, digital child support, everything. The UK is becoming more digital than the US, and I think that's because we have a smaller population, so it's easier to control. We have 69 million in comparison to something which has 380 million or so in the United States of America. And obviously you have your different states where there's different laws and different things are passed, And I see certain laws where they're trying to pass on 18 to 21-year-olds to still claim child support. So it's quite interesting. That's been today's video. I appreciate you. Next thing I'll probably talk about is hybristophilia. I'll have a look at that. And I'll see, maybe I'll talk about that. Anyways, it's been progress, and progress has been on point. Peace. Bye-bye.